What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We're in episode, is it 29?
Yeah, we on 29.
28? 29? 29.
20. No, hold on. Where we at? 29, yeah. All right. I don't have any numbers for you. I don't got no professional sports players with 29. None I can think of off the top. I didn't do any research today, so forgive me for that.
Hey, man, I'm sure there's a decent football player with the number 29 somewhere that we forgot. So, Anyway, episode 29, man. We come totally unprepared, man. Speaking of unprepared, I don't even have a pop filter today, so excuse my plosives if I'm popping in y'all ears today, man. But
you got to back up a little bit. Anytime you hit them P's, back up a little bit.
Yeah. You got to go easy on the P's, man. Hey, anyway, my name is Jared. Denzel is my co-host, and we are here to talk cigars and a little everything else.
Yes,
for me,
sir.
I'm gonna tell you what cigar I'm gonna be rocking with because it will be
get right to it.
Show for me.
Okay, let's get right to
All
it.
Right, Corivari is the cigar I'll be smoking today.
Okay, yeah. Is that the name of the cigar or the name of the brand?
The name of the brand, Corivari, and the name of the cigar is the El Gran Rey. One of these.
Okay,
I don't know where
I have
not
heard of that.
All over the place.
I have not heard of that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a straight referral. I tell you what I researched on it. This is interesting. Now it's Cuban seed Nicaraguan grown tobaccos. So
Cuban seed. Okay.
I don't know if that makes a difference.
I'll see
today. So it's a Nicaraguan tobacco. Technically, because it was grown in the land of Nicaragua, but it was
so what I'm getting. Yeah, so I'm getting so it's naturally grown in Cuba, but the seeds from Cuba they took it and put it in Nicaraguan soil. Yeah, in that whole environment. Okay, that's really interesting.
Right. Interesting. So that may just sound better than what it actually is, because that's like taking a Georgia apple and growing it in DC. It's just an apple still. I don't know, but
I don't know. That might be a little different. It might be a little different. Just because those environments so extreme, though, like they're so extreme. You talking about Cuba, island, not as. I can't say I haven't been to Cuba before. Neither have I been to Nicaragua. But I'm based on my knowledge, I'm pretty sure one's more humid than the other. More foresty, one's more islandy. So that could play a part in it.
Hey, time will tell, and time is nearing. So,
all right,
I look forward to it.
Let's get to it.
What you got though?
All right, so the last episode I smoked the Davidoff, and you can't just follow that up with just something regular. You know what I'm saying? Something I'm familiar with. So I had to go with an eye catcher on this one. Something that kind of pops, and then kind of gives a little bit different type of dynamic to the smoke. So I went with the Leaf by Oscar. Have you seen one of these before?
Nah, man. Hold on, man. That look like that's been beat up. Hold on, show me that one more time. That look like that got left in the rain, brother. Like,
yeah,
I think I have seen them like that before, though.
So this one is actually the cigars is wrapped with the leaf.
It's cased in
Encased in the leaf. So you know how
tobacco.
There you go, a paper bag of tobacco. So instead of putting it in the plastic cellophane or whatever, and letting that kind of preserve your cigar, Oscar, the Leaf by Oscar, they wrap theirs in the leaf to help kind of preserve the flavor and the integrity of the cigar by the leaf. So it was some kind of thought that maybe the cellophane, the plastic would kind of take away from that natural leaf, the tobacco leaves. You know what I'm saying? So why not keep the moisture and keep everything going, the humidity, everything, all the integrities of the cigar leaf and the fillers and everything with the cigar protected by another cigar leaf.
Now that is incredible. Did you get a picture of this? Because we won't be running video this week like last week, so y'all won't be able to see it. But if you visit the Instagram, I'm sure he'll get that posted for you all.
Yeah, yep. I got a picture because man, it was interesting to see. So I had to grab it. So definitely got to put this out for the community to see if you're not familiar with the Leaf by Oscar. So this is actually a journey right now as I'm getting this started and unwrapping the leaf. I wish we had the video for this one, but if you can see it, kind of uncasing it with the leaf wrapper here, and boom, we got our
Yeah,
cigar
that's kind of slick there.
right
That's
here,
that's.
and we
I
got the
ain't gonna lie, that was a
Maduro.
little player. You know what I'm saying?
So we went with the Maduro. They have the Leaf by Oscar has different types of leaf wrappers, and I went with the Maduro wrapper. Only because we like those Maduros, we like those dark wrappers. So here we are. Boom, there we go. There we go.
Look like you got
So I
some
don't know
length
too
on that
much
too.
about it. Was that again?
You you look like you got some length on that. Do you know how long that is?
Oh man, I didn't even
Didn't
bother to
check.
pay attention to it. But well, it's a Toro. So I don't know if that helps anybody who knows too much about those different type of sizes, the Coronas and whatnot. But that's
Right.
what we got on this one. So if you want me to go through it real quick, of course we got a Nicaraguan cigar, um, fillers mainly from Honduras. Supposed to be a little bit of peppery spice. Has supposed to
Oh,
have some
don't go that
chocolate
far.
on
Don't
it.
go that far. Don't go that far.
Just, what's that? What's that?
You went too far. You going too far. All we
Too
need to
far?
know is the rapper and stuff,
This
man.
the
All right,
rapper?
don't
Okay,
push me
we
on the
want
show, man. We all right.
okay,
That's the
okay.
show, y'all. We get with y'all
we,
next week.
all right. We'll leave it at that. We'll get into all the extra nuances as we go along.
Most
Um,
definitely. While we go ahead and get started, I'm using a match and a cedar stick, by the way. Mine is got the torpedo on it, so I use a straight cut. Just going and giving all the details out right away. Um,
okay.
matter of fact, let me pause there. What you got? V cut.
V cut. Going with a V cut. Haven't done that. I don't think ever in the podcast. But
Yeah, sure. It's
got
been
the
a
V
while.
cut
Yeah,
today.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? We got to step outside our normal seeds from time to time. You know, mainly the straight cut. Been going with the punch lately, and I was like, man, I need that. I need that V cut this time around. So here we are. V cut it up. It's been a while. It's been a while since I did that, but I got a clean little cut. You know what I'm saying? That V cut's that dangerous one. You know, if you ain't careful, you're going we talked about that the last episode, I believe it was.
Well, if I won't careful with
You
that
know,
cedar
get you right where you want
stick
to be,
right
but
there,
you
boy,
got
it
to
was
be
a short
careful
piece.
with
That
it.
almost took me out.
All right, and we're using the butane lighter on this one. So, been using the matches and the cedar spills lately, but we're going butane today. All right, getting it nice and toasty.
Yeah, I'm toasting on match number 2, man. That first one I used it on the cedar spill. Stick was
Mm-hmm.
short. It almost took my finger out, man.
All right, we got any particular pairings?
Well, you know, if people had the video, if we had the video today, I would show that I have a copper mug. So
There we go.
for all of the enthusiasts, who are very snobby about it, I got a Moscow Mule in here. But for those who ain't snobby, I got them little Stella drinks in here is what I really got. So
so is what is a Stella Mule?
yeah, Stella Mule.
Okay,
I'll meet y'all
okay.
halfway. It's a Stella Mule going on.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. So right now I'm with the De Leon tequila. Just a little bit. We got some ice on it, so we kind of dialing it back a little bit. So we're gonna ride with that. It's the Reposado. Little smoother than the silver, if you ask me. So threw some ice on it. I don't want it to overpower the cigar. I wanted it to kind of be like kind of smooth in the background and kind of let the cigar take over the palate for the most part.
Well, while we getting going,
Yeah.
here's something I left out. My price point on this particular cigar is $10.25. What is your price point that you had on that? You said Leaf by Oscar.
Yeah, Leaf by Oscar. $10, $10, $10.
10 even. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you said something interesting. You said you just couldn't go straight from that Davidoff over to something too normal, so you
Too
had to go
normal. Yeah,
step
yeah, yeah,
out there
yeah,
a little bit more.
yeah,
You
yeah,
really
yeah,
setting yourself up for a bad position. So now, what do you do from here this week?
yeah.
Because I know you
Ah,
dipped off, but you kept it fancy. But what you going? You still got to
I think.
maintain now.
Well, I think next smoke is to go with a mainstay. I think that's a proper play. I think if you go with something that's up there and then you go with something unique, I think the next in the progression of things is just to go with something that's a heavy hitter, one of your mainstays that's going to keep you right there in the game. You don't go and venture off too far to where it's something that you don't like. You don't go to a Gurkha after, I'm saying, this type of experience. You go
Right,
to,
right.
like, for me, you go to a Liga, or you go to one of my favorite, my father's, and just keep it right there. And then now you can go to that little fork in the road. Either you can go back up, or you can take a chance and dip back down to something that you might not like.
Okay, so you
You know what I'm
transition
saying?
that way. I ain't mad at that. That's a
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah,
nice
yeah.
theory that you got there.
Allow yourself to recover. Allow yourself to recover. Okay.
That's a good game plan. Good game plan. I'm with it. Um, my initial thoughts here on my Corvari El Gran
Hmm.
Rey is immediately off the bat. I recognize that I am dealing with a full body cigar here,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it is done well. It's done well. It's got a little spice and a little pepper, uh, but it's all in a creamy smoke. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Nice.
not
That's the
hitting
way
you
to do
too
it.
rough.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's very doable. No issues for me
Hmm.
with it at this point in time. Now I'm
Yeah.
intrigued to see where it goes from here,
Right.
but I'm not upset with it at this point in time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and that's something we always mention. We always talked about is, especially now this deep into the game, I'm not afraid of those flavors that I don't particularly like. I'm not a big spice guy, not a big leather guy, but as long as the cigar can do it well, because there's sometimes those are of unavoidable components of tobacco smoke. As you burn in tobacco, sometimes you can't avoid it, no matter how well you construct it. But it's how it's all packaged.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. And really, I'm open to a cigar that can actually um package some flavors that I'm normally not into and make it
Hmm.
something that I'm actually into.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
that
for
intrigues
sure.
me, the idea of that. So
Like make me like it. Okay, I know I'm not gonna like it, but make me enjoy it. Make
yeah,
me
because I'm
enjoy the
not
ride.
anti, but so far my experiences I don't prefer it. So give me
Yeah,
something to make me change.
yeah, 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 for sure with that. But
Yeah.
oh man, so with my smoke first couple puffs, I know I rattled off a little bit of the characteristics of the cigar early on, and I mentioned like peppery spice. None at all. I'm not getting any at all. I don't know if it's the tequila that's kind of burned it off or not. But right now, even with the butane light, which usually makes your cigar a little bit more harsh, um, peppery spice, very very mild, if any at all for me. And I can tell you one thing: this Maduro leaf wrapper, this is a reminder of why I lean towards Maduro wrappers now. Like it has a lot of good flavor on the top. A lot of good flavor on the top. Like that good aroma and that good flavor that I usually lean towards with a Maduro wrapper.
Hmm.
This does it really, really well. It's kind of that reminder of, man, this is why I lean towards that dark wrapper.
That's interesting, man. And it's good to have those that actually do it right. Speaking of aromas, actually, you made me pay a little more attention to what I got, and I feel like
Hmm.
it's almost like a caramel type aroma that's
Ah,
coming
okay,
off of this
okay,
one. So the aroma is real nice coming off of it, actually.
okay.
While I'm dealing with that pepperiness. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
little bit of spice is hitting me in that full body of this cigar. So, um,
Yeah.
this is good for those people who are into like a full body cigar, but it don't feel like it's hitting over the top, like you know what I'm
Over top.
saying, like too
Right.
powerful.
Hey, so
And
let me ask you
there's
this
also
question.
seemed to be a little
Huh?
bit of a nuttiness here. I'm kind of picking up on, which I think is the final thing that I'm kind of noticing in this also, or maybe it's just kind of how this stick
Okay.
is blending with this drink that I got right now. That could be creating that. I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
that's something that you always got to consider. You always got to consider how your palate's prepared, what you're pairing it with. That's
Yeah,
gonna, you know what I'm saying, throw little curves in how the cigar is received, man.
yeah.
But I have a question though, real quick. Like you just brought something to my attention.
Hmm.
That I kind of thought about not too long ago. Like was thinking about hitting up cigar spots and cigar lounges and how I like to consume my cigars now, and that I'm more of a individual cigar smoker now, which is wasn't particularly me. Like, of course, I enjoy my cigars by myself, but always love going to cigar lounges and cigar bars and whatnot, and hanging out with other brothers and sisters and enjoying cigars with them. But we mentioned aromas.
Hmm.
So you know how you're smoking a cigar by yourself, you're picking up your cigar's aroma.
Right,
But now if you're in a cigar lounge, smoke with other cigar smokers, you're picking up other cigar aromas. Do
right.
you feel um like does that mess with you ever? Has it ever messed with you like when you're smoking with somebody else's other people smoke cigar, or does it enhance your experience having a bunch of different aromas kind of combined, especially if it's a really good setting of a lot of different good cigars. Nobody smoking a harsh cigar that's like really, saying stinging the nostrils or anything like that or messing you up. Or do you prefer just let me have this one setting with me and my cigar and that aroma of that cigar, especially if it's a good one? And how does that enhance my experience versus having all these other smokers smoking around me and all those different aromas coming together? Some might be harsh, some might be sweet, some might be, saying bitter. How do you receive that?
Now, because I've never thought about that in the moment, as you're saying it, I'm only reflecting on how I felt while being in
Mm-hmm.
those environments,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
because of that, because I'm only going on how a situation made me feel, I have to say that I enjoy them both equally in different ways.
Really? Okay, okay.
Yeah, because when I'm in that cigar lounge and it's all these different aromas, it overall still just kind of has that cigar smell overall. You know what I'm saying? So it don't
Yeah, that similar basis of everything.
there's similar bases of everything. So it never really takes me out my zone. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it does make me curious of how that's affecting my palate and my experience with my particular cigar
Particular
because
cigar,
smell
yeah.
affects taste. So I've never even thought about that. That maybe a few of them cigars I've had at lounges, I should try them outside of a lounge and see how I really
Mm-hmm.
feel about it. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I can't say that I have a preference one or the other because I can't say that I've consciously allowed a lounge to take away from my experience. I've
Mm-hmm.
still enjoyed it,
Yeah. I
and
mean, like
when
I
I'm
got
at home by myself, I of course I enjoy it, and I'm probably a little more observant because I'm not in conversation,
yeah, 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 yeah. Right,
paying
right,
attention to my surroundings.
right. I mean, I think it comes down to ventilation for one. I went to one spot. It was a couple years ago, and the place wasn't ventilated well at all. Like the smoke was too thick for me, even as a cigar smoker. It was too thick. It was the aromas settled, and like I really couldn't gauge my cigar much at all. And just reflecting, like you said, reflecting back to particular moments. That's a moment I reflect back to, and I really didn't enjoy my cigar, and I really didn't enjoy my time. It felt like too much confusion. Like
Right.
I really didn't know what was going on, even in my cigar smoke. I couldn't get settled, and if I can't get settled while I'm smoking a cigar, that's a waste of cigar, waste of my cigar
Yeah.
time. You know what I
Pretty
mean?
much. Makes total sense. So for you, you're officially on board with enjoying your cigar to yourself.
Man, I am on that wave, man. I am on that wave right now. Like honestly, yesterday I thought about going to a cigar lounge. It's like, man, I want to go to DC and nice. It was a nice spot that I've been to before, and I heavily thought about doing it, but I'm like, I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want that. Like I'm getting into enjoying cigars more so by myself and just creating that environment in and of my own self now. I don't know. Maybe it's just a
When did the
phase. Maybe it's just a
realization
phase I'm
occur?
going through. Just a few months ago. A few months ago. It's like
What
this is like
caused
being
it? Do
kind
you
of like,
know?
hmm.
Was it like a specific incident that caused it, or was it just smoking? And you said,
I
you know
can't.
what, I like this.
I think it was just that. It was just that. Like I just got into a zone, and then I think it's more so conversations. Like we've been having more conversations and getting to know our cigars more. And I think throughout this podcast, it's become more about getting to know my cigar more intimately. Like paying attention to certain nuances of my cigar, and you kind of lose a little bit of that in the social settings. You kind of lose that in environments with other cigar smokers and too much cigar smoke going on, and too many other different aromas coming together, and it's like it's you don't get to pay attention to it too much. And I think I'm more on the intimacy with my cigar one on one and figuring out my cigar and the cigar journey throughout the smoke than I am more about the social aspect.
So you want a private date with your cigar?
A private
Me
date
and
with
my
my
stick,
cigar.
leave me alone.
Yeah,
Like, I feel that.
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at now. You know what I'm saying? And no shot to one or the other. Like, hey, I enjoy both at different points of my cigar journey over the last decade plus. But it's just that's where I'm at now. Like I'm into more of figuring out my cigar in the moment.
I think I think depending on the environment, I'll take being to myself over a lounge. And when I
Mm-hmm.
say the environment, if I'm like at some water or something and I'm just sitting there looking out, I'll take that over a lounge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm
for sure.
just sitting in the
Garaging it up.
front yard or the backyard or something, even standing in the garage or
give
something,
me give me the lounge over that. Give me the atmosphere.
uh, even, you know what I'm saying?
It's
They way
even.
out, it's all the
Okay,
same. You
okay.
know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can be in one or the other. So I think that's where I'm at. If I'm just around the house doing nothing, smoking one, I can take a lounge as easy as doing that. But if I'm
And then,
somewhere
and then
that's special to me and I can just really relax, like give me that.
yeah. And then of course, we talked about it before. That plays on your cigar selection for that moment. Then you know what I mean. It's gonna be a cigar that's a work cigar, like while I'm working on something. You know what I mean, or a cigar while I'm just kicking it at a barbecue, or a cigar when I'm in the lounge, or a cigar when I'm one on one. I'm having that intimate moment with my cigar. I'm gonna
Right.
want something that I'm gonna be able to want to ride out and vibe to, like as far as like really getting to know it. That's where I'm at, man. Like I don't know, it's just that's becoming more and more over the last few months. I'm sure it'll shift back at some point. At some point, I'm probably not gonna care about the cigar journey, and I'm just gonna want to enjoy cigars around my cigar friends and do cigar things with my cigar guys and whatnot.
Yeah. It's probably just a stage of your journey. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, 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 yeah. And I didn't even know we had stages like that in the cigar world. But I guess here we are. We're learning. We're learning as we go. Never something I never paid attention to over the last few years, but I'm tapping into it now. I'm tapping into our
Do,
different phases and stuff like that now.
do you think that it could possibly be life experiences that lead you to that though? Where it's like, okay, I appreciate my alone time. So if I can get some
Oh
alone time with
yeah,
my stick, is that, or could it
man.
just be the
Yes,
pandemic playing its part? Where like we all just want to be away from people.
that could be it. That could be a lot of it. But I think it could be those life experiences. It's just like what I need that alone time with my stick, and it's more therapeutic for me, and maybe I feel like I need that more than I need the other.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like,
that
okay,
central scene.
yeah, it's like sometimes in life you just get to that point where you kind of internalize more, like you become more self aware. And then other times in your life cycles, we talked about life cycles before, that where you're not even worried, you're not even concerned about, what I'm saying, your self awareness. You just out there living it up. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we become self-aware. And I guess that's what I'm getting. Maybe it could be that phase. We phasing in and phasing out.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, we, you touched on life phases. That's a whole episode in itself, man.
It's a
And
whole
I
episode.
think
We
I
waiting for
think
that
at
one. We
some
waiting for
point we
that one.
should do that
Going to the life phase, man.
because
That's
we
gonna
have
be a
a
mind.
theory. We got a theory that there are several phases. You interchange between two phases of your life, and they
Constantly,
slowly
yeah.
go upward. Every 3 years,
Every time.
you're
Yep.
going through these phases. But I won't get into it now. But that's gonna be we're gonna do that one sooner than later.
Yeah.
That episode's coming.
And you know how we feel. It's not even a theory to us at this point. And we say theory just for the effect of, or the idea of, what I'm saying, something not really being proven. But to me, to us, it's more than a theory, man. Like you said, we'll get into that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure we've proven it multiple times through many different people, observing many people throughout their
Yeah.
stages.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Matter of fact, you've probably witnessed this show change. If you've listened to us through all the episodes, you probably
Yeah.
witnessed us. Once we explain the stages, you'll be like, hey, I
Like,
see the
it'll click.
stages in you guys.
You can go back from episode to episode as you go back, and then you can see the stage change and the conversation change and demeanor change and stuff like that. And then guess what? You're gonna become aware of yourself and be like, that's why.
Yeah.
It's an eye opener, man.
Hey man.
And speaking
I'm
of,
gonna
yeah,
shift
what's up?
gears on you real quick.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You've been sending me cards lately, man. Speaking of phases and stuff, you've been sending me cards lately. And you made a comment the other day that I wasn't ready to commit to, but
What was
we'll
that?
see.
What was that?
Well, we always a little harsh on BMW and show a lot of love to Mercedes. Now you said that Rolls Royce is more Mercedes and Bentley is more BMW. And you
I
are
said that,
highly
man.
disappointed in Bentley.
Oh man, I said
Do
it.
you mind going into that a little bit?
Whew, okay, man. Cause I've always respected Bentley. I haven't always respected BMW, but I've always respected Bentley. But for some reason, over my journey of enjoying luxury vehicles, I've started to pay attention to certain differences. And like when you're outside of it and you're learning about it and you just get into it, all luxury vehicles are just luxury vehicles. And you just like, oh, this is a luxury vehicle. And you kind of keep them on the same tier. But then once you start, knocking on the window and like really looking at what's what, and you really start getting in depth with these luxury brands, you kind of see some differences. And you're like, you know what? This ain't as luxury as I thought it was. And I'm probably, put my foot in my mouth right now by saying this. Talking about Bentley, but just looking deeper into Bentley, I'm like, it doesn't to me doesn't feel as luxury as I once thought it was. Is it a fall off thing?
What's lacking? Because obviously the exterior look good on them.
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. We can agree on that. That's something that I can't necessarily say too much about Mercedes. I'm not Mercedes, but BMW. Like I wish they would kind of shift their look a little bit. Even though they tried with the grill, I don't even like the grill still. But that interior, man, like it's just. And I'm a minimalist. That's the crazy thing. I'm a minimalist, and you see a lot of luxury brands, like you mentioned, they don't do interiors well. Like it's not over the top, not overdone. Like some lower brands, they'll like overdo their interior and try to add a lot of little bells and whistles here and there, and just all these little gadgets and stuff like that. Even though they're not a top tier vehicle, they'll still have a lot more gadgets in their vehicle than a luxury brand car, right?
Right.
But even with that, I just think they're just lacking so much. And maybe I need to go sit in a few Bentleys. Maybe Bentley need to holler at us and, give us a Bentley tour. But as it's,
do a tour.
sway me, Bentley. Vernon Cigars, we're open to you swaying us. But
Agreed.
as it stands right now, from what I'm seeing, like I'm just not seeing enough of it. Like it doesn't grab me. There's nothing about it that grabs me. There's nothing about it that says in comparison, in comparison to other high end luxury vehicles, it doesn't speak to high end luxury. If
So
I'm sitting in it,
is it that the actual material that's being used on the inside looks like it's not as high quality? Is it just the designs just
the
lack
design,
being in the right positions and everything? Look,
it
what
makes
is
me
it?
sleepy. It makes me sleepy.
So it's just boring, even for a minimum. Even as
It's
a
boring.
minimalist, you find it boring.
Even as a minimalist, it just feels boring to me. Like it just doesn't feel like I got to get in that. Like I haven't been in all luxury vehicles, so I'm not gonna pretend to like what I'm saying. Like I'm this luxury brand aficionado, but it's just the eye test. Look from the outside looking in, and in comparison to other luxury brand vehicles, I see some vehicles. I'm like, man, I got to get in that. I need to be behind that wheel. You know what I'm saying? You look at the POV videos and you try to put yourself behind the wheel of that vehicle. When I looked at the Bentley, it's like I don't even care to open the door. I'll look at it from the outside. I want to see it riding up and down the street. Looks good, but you get to the window, you look in, it's like
Eh.
I'll pass. I'll pass.
Wow.
So that's why I correlated BMW, Bentley, Rolls, Mercedes. Like I think
And Rose is minimalist in my
it is
opinion,
minimalist,
especially compared to even
and
a
not too
Mercedes. Like
flashy, and
Mercedes
not too
got all the
flashy.
bells and whistles on it for real.
But
Like
it's
if you
just the
get
way
like the
it
top level.
yeah. But it's just the way it's constructed. I think they do it real sexy. It's just it to me. Eye test.
I agree with
Eye
you. I
test.
mean, I think a rose is beautiful. Like as simple as it is. Like it's perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And that's why I got that correlation. I'm drawing that linear correlation. Sorry, Bentley, but I mean, and for some people, this might not even be a diss. Like some people love BMW. You know what I'm saying? That's their top car. And to say that a BMW, Bentley on the same linear level as far as, what I'm saying, how we categorize our vehicles, some might be like, you know what, fine, cool. And I mean, they're well respected. Bentley, BMW, they're both well respected. But just what you're getting from me, you know,
so really a Bentley is like
sorry.
a car that you go drive around in and smoke your gurkhas while you're driving around.
Now I'm gonna smoke a brick house in it.
Ooh, even worse. Oh, I don't
No,
know. Maybe better. I don't know. It's hard to say.
no, I ain't gonna say all of that. Yeah, I ain't gonna say all of that. No. Yeah, I'll smoke a gurk in it. We'll smoke a gurk in it. You know. We'll say the league is for the rolls. You know what I mean?
All right, man. You said it, man.
But how do you feel? Do you have a dog in the fight? Do you feel one way or the other?
I'm not mad at Bentley like you are. I'm not ready to say that it's BMW. You know what I'm saying? Even though get I get why you would make that comparison. Like, I got eyes, they work. I understand the comparison. I'm not ready to commit to that stance that you took. Like, because there's something about it I still like.
Yeah.
It's slightly underwhelming, yeah, but it's something about it that still I find attractive.
You know, I mean, and to be honest with you, it shocked me. It shocked me, and that's why I sent it to you because it shocked me. Like I didn't like when I was looking at them, and I looked at more than one, two, three, four, five, and it clicked. Like, and I was disappointed myself. I
Man,
was
but you look at
disappointed.
like a Lamborghini, the Bugatti, and stuff like that. Their interiors is nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but it's really all about performance.
Yeah, and
And
that's
I
why
think maybe the
BMW is the way
Bentley
they
is
are.
probably balanced by performance.
You know, I never even looked at that. I never even looked at the performance acumen of Bentley.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe because one, I never thought of it as a performance car. You think
yeah,
Beamer, you think performance. You think
right.
Mercedes, you think luxury. You think Rolls Royce, you think luxury.
Right.
And I never looked at Bentley as a performance vehicle, and maybe it is something that they hang their hat on. That's something I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to
it's
explore. So, like I said, Bentley, holler at
possible.
me and let me know about your
Possible.
performance.
But yeah,
I'm
I'm
okay
with
with
you. I
giving
never
a test
look at
ride.
them as that either. You look at them as a luxury line. You look at like even a Ferrari is more
Yeah,
performance
because
based
like I
than
mean,
that.
honestly, like back in the day, before when we was getting to know all of these luxury type brands, I correlated BMW, Mercedes, same line,
Mm-hmm.
Bentley, Rolls, same line.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't feel comfortable putting Bentley and Rolls Royce on the same line. I don't put them as that same linear correlation.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I ever did.
I did.
I looked at more like Bentley is being like the equivalent of a Lexus compared to a Mercedes, and
Mm.
Rolls being like Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
just that
yeah,
tier
yeah,
slightly under.
yeah. And no disrespect to Lexus, but no.
But I'm not saying that Bentley is a Lexus, but I'm just saying like you know how the tiers. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
Like
yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I don't know, man. Like it's like
okay,
names. I think
we'll go Audi instead of Lexus. How about that? If that makes it.
okay.
Once upon a time, the
And no, I
Lexus
mean,
was looked at above an
no,
Audi, though.
yeah, no diss to Lexus. I mean, they put in work over the decades, but to me, I think they've fallen off the that
Ooh,
Mount
they're not
Rushmore
even
of
in the
vehicles.
conversation no more, are they? I just said something from the
Not even,
'90s. In reality,
yeah. Like coming up in the '90s, Lexus, Beamer, Benz. This is just what you remember hearing all the time. Like
yeah,
that was up there. But now, as we've gotten older and we look at these, you know what I'm saying? We look at what's what. Like in the '90s, you put them on your Rushmore vehicles. I got to have it. I got
yeah.
to have. I got to have. I have no interest in a Lexus. Zero
Nah,
interest in a Lexus. I mean, like
nah.
zero interest in Lexus.
I go get an Infinity before a Lexus, man. Like I don't have no interest either.
And like this, it's crazy. It's sad. I mean, not sad for Lexus because Lexus got they got their fans,
No, no, it's a
but
little sad. It's a little sad. You can say it
you
because
said
you
it's
were
a
on
little
the
sad.
Mount Rushmore.
You
Like
on the
you,
Mount Rushmore, like coming up.
Lexus
That was
is Alec Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Is what they are.
ooh, ooh. I like that.
Alec Bradley, bro.
Lexus is
That's what
Alec
Lexus has become.
Bradley. Wow. Ouch.
Ouch.
You respect the name, but where's Lexus?
But where's Lexus when we talk about cars, man? You see
Like
him here and there.
Alec Bradley, you respect the name. I still respect the name, but where's Alex?
Yeah,
Dang, come on, Lexus.
that's a tough one, right?
By all means, Lexus, hit us up, sell
and,
us, sway
and
me.
I don't think they can. I don't think they
Really?
can. I'm open to trying, but I don't think they can. I don't think they got it no more. Like you see how quick I
Mm.
rang their name off, and that was just off the strength of the '90s.
Yeah,
And when you made me think
yeah.
about it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, they name don't even hold the weight that an Audi do today. Like, so yeah, they
It
don't.
doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't.
I would
And
take
they
a
got
Genesis over a Lexus.
oh my gosh, come on now, come on. You
Yeah,
Genesis is
it's
up there. Like they do vehicles really well. They
yeah.
are killing the game. Even their SUV line. They had an SUV that turned my head a few months back when it dropped. I'm like, what? Saw it coming up behind me. What is that? Pull up beside me. I'm looking. Like I had to look. Like it was a head turner. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they getting
I
there.
haven't seen.
They eventually in another 10, 15 years, they might go ahead into that next tier. You know what I'm saying? If they continue down the
They
same
might
path
be in that
and they
conversation.
start separating from that line from Hyundai as much, you know what I'm saying? They'll be
Yeah,
I
which
think
they
they'll
are
get
doing.
there.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
My wife the other day was like when one of the Genesis pulled up, she said, "Is that a Bentley or a Genesis?" I had to
Mm-hmm.
look. I'm like, no, that's a Genesis, but I can see why you would say that. Like it was one of the SUVs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Now that SUV is mean. Hey, look, that SUV is mean. But
Yeah.
and that's crazy. Like you got a line that's coming up to Lexus, and you got to question if it's a Genesis or a Lexus. I mean, or Bentley. I mean, like you
Yeah.
coming up on Bentley, and you got to question whether you're a Genesis or a Bentley. That is that's a testament to your come up. That's a testament to
And
your
now,
come up.
and their correlation is a little closer than just a little closer than what well a lot closer than when 300 was trying to do like their version of the Phantom.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Genesis is
no,
doing a
they
better
are.
version of that. Like
Yeah. Because them Chryslers, they tried it.
they
They
tried.
fooled a lot of people
Hey, they fooled until you saw a real one, and you was like,
until
man,
a real one pulled up, until
you
a
could
real
sit
Phantom
this
pulled up.
300 inside of a row inside of a Phantom. Like once you see a
Yeah,
real Phantom in person, you're like, wow, nah, that's a much
yeah,
bigger car.
yeah, for sure. But man, Lexus fell off that Mount Rushmore of Vicks. Like we used to herald it as one of the ones you had to have, man. And like you said,
Okay,
it's not
so
even
who
conversation.
replaced it in that tier we're talking about, like that
Mm.
that BMW Mercedes tier cars? You know what I'm saying? Where you just hadn't quite got to the elite levels, but you at the top of you know
Audi,
Audi filled in
maybe.
that third spot.
Yeah, I think so. I think
More than
so.
likely, yeah.
I think
Because a
so.
lot of
Um,
people, you see a lot of videos where they comparing that six that A8. I'm sorry, gets
mhm.
compared to the S class, but you don't see
Yeah,
really nobody else getting compared to that S class
yeah.
other than
I haven't heard
the
of
A8.
any Lexus that even comes close to that conversation of S class or anything near that caliber of a vehicle. So I mean, and you get that from Audi. Like, so I would say maybe them,
Yeah,
maybe them.
yeah. Whenever I do a lot of comparison videos and stuff on YouTube, and
Hmm.
I see them get put up against each other a lot. I don't see
Yeah,
too many other
they're in
people in that
they're in the fight.
conversation.
Like can it get edged out? Can you sway me in a conversation? Yeah. But without a conversation right now, I would have to name them. You would have to do some comparisons. You would have to do some side by sides, and then you could sway me. I'm not saying that they're solidified, like they're on there. And you can't. They're
Right,
not
right,
coming
right,
off.
right.
Like Mercedes is not coming off for me. They're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Rolls Royce
Mercedes
is
is
not
locking
coming
in that
off.
spot.
They're locked in. You know, they just do too many nice vehicles. Like you got the Maybach, the S550s. They're not coming off. You know what I mean? But Audi, could you possibly knock them off if you sway me? Yeah, but for right now, without going too deep into conversation about it, I give it to them for right now.
Right, right, right. Yeah, they seem to really be on the threshold of that spot, and
Mhm.
like you say, they not locked in where they holding on to it permanently, but they deserve it at this point in time.
Yeah,
I can't really
they
think
up
of
there
nobody
right
else.
now. Yes. So what's up with your
So where
cigar,
we
man?
at
Where
with
we at?
with your stick here?
Oh, I just asked you about yours, but I'll go ahead and get into mine.
Okay.
And I have been trying to make sure I pay attention even through the conversation because like I really want to give a good review, not a good review, but a solid review on this cigar. Um and spice, nothing. Pepper, nothing now. As I'm finishing up that first third, get into that second third.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's real easy, man. Like a real smooth smoke. Like a lot of good flavors. Um I don't know if the leaf casing had anything to do with how well it preserved the flavors, but it's probably one of the most flavorful cigars that I've had in a while that's not a flavor cigar. You know, we talking about
Right.
those tobacco flavors, where you get a little bit of a chocolate, a little bit of a cocoa, that earthy wood, nutty kind of flavors. I'm getting a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that, like all kind of interwoven together. Like it's just at different puffs, I pick up on this. At a different puff, I'll pick up on that. It's like it's not even from third to third that you pick up on a predominantly this, and then it
Right.
transitions to a predominantly that. It's just a bunch of these little flavors that's just kind of hitting up, hitting me as I take it from puff to puff. It's one of those puff to puff cigars that you take a sip of something, you puff it, you feel this. You know, you kind of clear your palate through conversation as you're waiting to take your next puff get another flavor, and it's just like this kind of round robin of flavors as you go through it so far. It's pretty cool, pretty nice.
Cool. For me, I am uh, pretty much a lot of it stood standing where it's at. Some of that pepperiness, well, all of it kind of died off. It still got a little bit of spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
Creamy smoke still got that full body to it. I got some cocoa nutty flavors coming in along with that
Mm-hmm.
spice and that caramel aroma. I can kind of taste it as it's coming through off of
That's nice.
on my
That's
palate
nice.
also. So that's overall what it's been throughout pretty much the smoke. Once we got off that initial, toasting
Mm-hmm.
and some of the stuff that hits
Yeah.
right off the bat.
So is that caramel aroma? Does it come off as really real sweet, or is it
No,
kind of like a
no,
dial back? Okay.
very
Okay.
dialed back and
Okay.
subtle. Um, to the point where it's more so how when you smell something you can kind of taste it more so than me just tasting
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
a part of the
Yeah.
cigar construction itself. It just seems like it's just kind of playing with my nose and my mouth. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Playing with your senses more so than being a predominant thing about it.
Yeah. Which is cool. Which is cool. It just adds to that different level of smoke enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? You get a little something
Yeah,
out of it, like a little bit more action in the
yeah,
in your whole show. So I'm with that. I
yeah.
like it.
But
I like that. I'm not
it's a
mad
very
about that
subtle
at all.
thing. But it's mainly cocoa nuttiness and a little bit of
I like
spice
that.
and that creamy
Cool,
smoke.
cool, cool,
And like
cool.
I said, I can just pick up on the aroma, which is probably causing me to feel like I can taste it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You try the
But
retro hell, man. See how that retro hell might
yeah,
play
that's what I've
into
been
it.
doing. I've been retrohaling on this one. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's when I kind of been picking up on it because once I smelled it, I was like, okay, let me start retroing, and then it has more of a on the retro. You can kind of pick up on a little bit more of the sweetness than you can just regular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because like I picked up on that, like when you're saying like as you smell it, like how those aromas kind of play on what you're tasting, because
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of taste what you smell. So for those who don't retrohale or haven't ever retrohaled, and you have a cigar that's kind of giving you something like that, I would encourage you to try it, to try it, and see how it enhances that flavor that you're getting. Especially if you have a really good aroma, you'll find yourself pleasantly surprised by what you're getting out of it.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
can't I
most
can't say I
definitely.
retrohale a lot. I don't retrohale a lot. I used to try it back in the day a lot more than I do now. But something like that, I'd pull out that retro hell out my bag. You know what I'm saying? We're going to retro hell
Yeah,
this one.
most definitely. Good advice, man. Good advice you gave out. And like you say, I'm the same way. I don't do it that often. Every blue moon I do it. But
Hmm.
because I was picking up on the aroma, I decided to do it earlier, and I've kind
Yeah,
of been doing it throughout the course of this cigar,
yeah.
like just to kind of keep getting that.
Cause you're a vet in the game now, man. Like you automatically. You
Hey
saying
man, I need
like
to get in that
you
bag.
recognize the moment. You recognize the moment. So I recognize
I
the moment.
see
I got
that,
to
bro.
let's do it.
Yeah, but hey man, we're gonna shift gears, man. While we were setting up today, man, I was kind of talking with you about something on off
Hmm.
camera before the show started. I was mentioning to you how I've been seeing a lot of articles, man, on Biden, man, where he's been getting some bad press, man. I noticed he was trending on Google. I went to see why he
Yeah.
was trending, and everything I saw was just bad pub. But it's not that he did one thing specific people were talking about. It's just
Hmm.
everything that was being said. And some of the sources were places that typically swing, more uh Democrat. That
Democrat.
favor them
Yeah.
typically. They're not even writing favoring articles entirely of them. And if you don't mind touching on what you were saying prior to us getting on online, we'll go into that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting to it at all. But man, where I was just going with it earlier, kind of give you everybody a back play on um the conclusion I was drawing up as to why the ratings might be what they are, or the bad press might be behind Biden as a Democratic president from his particular people who back that particular party. It's just mainly he wasn't the guy to begin with. No, he was just the guy, from my perspective, to go against the guy who they didn't want to be in there. You know, not necessarily that, hey, look, this is everything we're going to buy in from him. We might not feel like he's the best, most capable, but in the moment, he was the guy to beat the guy that they didn't want in there anymore. So, like, even those who voted for him weren't necessarily people who loved him, or necessarily bought into whatever his policies might be or might not be, or his ability to act or not act. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who voted Democrat who completely doubted his ability to be effective. So it's not shocking. Like, to me, it's not shocking. You know, we already see where he's at. Just in life in general. Of course, yeah, pretty decent background as far as political. Being the vice president for 8 years, 2 terms. You got a lot of experiences in and around that office. But what did you really expect from him? And I honestly, I don't think that a lot of Democratic voters really expected much from him. So now this is just them laying out their frustrations of, you know, what they know they weren't going to get to begin with. you know, so
Right.
that's all I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. You
You
know,
know, and I do agree with what you're saying. I'm gonna tell you something else interesting because I clicked on a few of the different
hmm
articles I saw, and one they said that there was a poll where 71% of voters were saying that, well, the people that were polled, when I say voters, the people that were polled, were saying that they hope that he doesn't rerun and they found a new candidate for the Democratic Party,
yeah, yeah,
which led me to say, wow, if that's the case, let's say that he doesn't get another term. That would be the past two presidents in a row not getting to go 8 years.
hmm
And it usually doesn't look good on a president when you
yeah.
don't
When they
get to
can't,
run two terms. Yeah, if you don't go
right?
back to back, it don't look really good on you. For the presidents that didn't get to do it. So the fact that we have that happening in back to back presidents, it makes me wonder, are we going into, well, hypothetically, we don't have it. We might not have it in back to back
When I
presidents.
haven't, yeah,
Makes me
no, no.
wonder, are we entering a new time where people just don't have belief in their politicians and their government, or if they just, we don't have the patience with you to correct things anymore. You know what I'm
A lot,
saying? As a
a lot of
society.
it, a lot of it. I think that's it. The latter is the patience to see out processes. That's
Right.
not happening, especially not now. Like, as more and more as we're becoming a now society,
Yeah.
if you get in there and you ain't doing nothing right now, right away, we got time to sit around 6 years to see your ideas play out. Nobody's doing that. I mean, that's just based off of how society's running right now. Nobody's gonna sit around and hopefully vote you in for another 4 years to see if you might be able to finally do what you weren't able to do for the first 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's I can't see that happen. I can't see that being the thing. And we're a lot more impatient than we were before. Our attention spans have shortened. Our patience has shortened. Um, and we're a lot sensitive than we used to be. So when you had that combination of sensitivity and lack of patience and the desire for change and policies to be pushed now, nah, it might go to every 4 years now. We need somebody new in here. You ain't doing what I want you to do. We can get somebody else in here. Now that person starts doing what they want somebody else to do, and then now you got another group of sensitive individuals. I say sensitive individuals, respectfully, um, because I'm not saying it demeaning, because sensitive issues, some legitimate, some not so legitimate, and I'll let
Mm-hmm.
those people decide what's what.
Right.
But there's sensitive issues that come up, and they want to change now. And if you ain't getting it done, they're gonna push you out and put somebody else in there. And then 4 years come, you ain't do what I need you. All right, you play to this person's needs, but you ain't play to mine. You're out of there. Get somebody else in. So it's just gonna be this constant. I can see that happening. Like what you said. I can see us going to 4 years. That's it. That's all you getting.
But I see that, I can see that too. But the unfortunate thing is this game, the political game, it's not set up to get nothing done in 4 years. Like, if we're
It's not.
being
It's
honest,
not. It's not.
You
It's not.
can't create any true change in them offices in that period of time because it's too much conflict. It's too much. I'm preserving my party. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we ain't never gonna get nothing done unless you can keep somebody in
Yeah.
there long enough to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But just the way things are, like
or
nobody's gonna sit.
it could make the politicians have to change where now they're forced to agree on something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah, yeah.
or
Because
we'll
like
never be able to keep anybody in here and never get nothing
like
resolved. We can't play the
you
long
look
game no
at
more.
yeah, you look at all these policies that's either been passed or been pushed to be passed and then get passed. You look at the process that it goes through, the checks and
Hmm.
balances. It's a lot of steps and a lot of hands that has to pass through. A lot of signatures and a lot of yays and less nays to go through whatever policy that you want to get pushed. It's not just a snap my fingers, sign this, and it's good to go.
Yeah,
Um, but we might have to get to that. We might have to get to that, especially if certain political parties want to hold their seat longer. They might have to start playing ball with
yeah,
what the people want instead of holding whatever they feel deemed as what they desire. They're gonna have to play to. I mean, and it might be the benefit to the people, to the citizens, to society all over, because now I have to act faster. Now, would it mean acting irrationally and not necessarily making the best decision? Could it lead to that? Possibly, yeah. But that's gonna be like that give and take. It's gonna be some good with the bad.
yeah. It's that's amazing to think about, man. The everything in this world is changing. Eventually, the whole government and their process is gonna have to change too. We can't
Yeah, you can't keep.
continue going in the way it was in 1775. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying?
gonna say
Like,
yeah. 200 years ago, yeah, that process is not gonna work in 2050. It's not.
yeah.
It, it can't.
At a point, you're gonna have to start getting this stuff electronic and on the blockchain, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, all the bills get signed electronically.
yeah, man, it's gonna have to change, man. Like, it's I don't know, man. It's scary and I guess exciting in a way. You know what I'm saying? Both ways. I mean, even if like kind of changing subjects, but it's all relates. You know, like even with the businesses and whatnot, a lot of the businesses that can't find people to work for them at this point in time, it's
Well,
because they're not
shift.
paying,
You
but
got to
at the
shift your
same
business
time they
model.
can't afford to pay, and at the same time people don't want that money. So it's just like this whole like the a lot of I can the
No,
economy is
you know
messed
you
up
see that.
because the people are conflicting with the businesses. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like it's the change
you
that's
see
happening.
that. You see that with businesses who go out of business and don't continue to flourish with the change of like the change of tide with how life goes and how society's going, and they stick to their guns and like no, we're not changing fast enough, and then before you know it, that business is obsolete. You know,
Yeah,
in a lighter note, like BlackBerry. You know what I mean? Like they refuse to change. And me being a BlackBerry guy, I was like the number one BlackBerry fanboy.
yeah, you were.
And I'm hoping for them to change and shift and do this and do that. And they ain't doing it. They sticking with the guns. Now this worked. Now this worked in 2008. It's 2012 now. Which what worked in 2008 is not going to work in 2012. You got to
Hmm.
shift. And they didn't do it fast enough and not big enough. And before you know it, they out of here. You know, Blockbuster didn't shift and change. We spoke about Netflix before and how Netflix changed their whole game. And look what happened to them. They went through the roof. Now they're about to go through a situation where they might, you know what I'm saying, be falling now too. Because they gotta have that, they're gonna have to shift again with the way consumers are. And if you're not 10 steps ahead, now you're falling off faster than anything else. You know, look at all the business that are gone now that were there in the 90s and early 2000s because they didn't shift their business model. You don't shift your business model, you become obsolete. Simple as that.
It is, man. It is, and it's all happening faster than people are adjusting. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we quick to point the finger at the businesses that aren't shifting, but government isn't shifting. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, and that's, you know, they're gonna have to. The people are gonna force it. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, the people are gonna force it, but from an unwillingness to keep any of y'all in y'all positions. Like
Yeah.
right now, they're able to rely on the fact that we're so divided when we all chose a side.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm
But tell me,
saying?
but let me ask this. So Juneteenth recently passed, right?
Right.
And I honestly have mixed emotions about the holiday that we have now, the Juneteenth holiday. And we know
Mm-hmm.
it got passed just last year. Some were able to observe it and some weren't. And this year was the first full year that people fully got to take advantage of observing the federal holiday. But in my opinion, I still feel like it was passed with gimmick. You get what I'm
Okay.
saying when I say that?
Would you feel like it was just like a gift?
Yeah,
Like, take this and shut up?
kind of, sort of. And now that we're on the subject now, that kind of brings it back to my attention as now is the government going to move on certain things in a gimmicky way? Like I hate to take it away from what they did. I mean, because it's a big deal. Like people have been celebrating Juneteenth for decades, decades. Like it's been a known thing in our community, in Black
Right.
in African American community. And then now that this is the first year that we actually widespread have observed the holiday, what was brought to my attention, which I should have known already, of how many people they still aren't even aware of what it is. You know what I mean? And then for it to get passed the way it got passed so fast, honestly, well, I don't know if you can say fast because it's been something that people have been observing for decades, um, over a century, really,
Yeah, over a
century and a
century.
half, yeah. Um, but is that an example of how things are going to get passed in the future? Because honestly, it was stemmed off of certain racial issues that happened just recently, not recently, but over the last year, that made them feel pressed to want to give us that holiday as, like you said, a gift. You know what I'm saying? Shut up and be good. You know, are you going to get more actions like that?
I don't know, because in my opinion, what we just saw with Roe versus Wade was the opposite of that.
Yeah, they
It
gave and
was
then they took.
instead of shut up and take this gift, it was y'all still complaining, I'll take it back. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was
Mhm.
the opposite of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one or the other. Like, um, but I can only base it off where we are today. And where we are today, the most recent action they took was
yeah. So
I can't please your note one way or the other, so I'm gonna do what I want to do.
yeah, so to me that puts us at a strange intersection. Like I
Yeah.
think right now we're at an intersection of this thing can get really good or can get really bad. But the thing that you really want from it is a genuine government that has genuine concerns for genuine people. But what are you going to get? What's really going to happen? How is the tide going to shift and change? And how's the landscape going to look going forward? Really don't know what we're going to get going forward. Right now we're in a really gray area, really gray.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. We really don't know what we're gonna get going forward. And as much as I would like to believe it's based on the individuals that's in there, I don't even think it's that. I think
Hmm.
it's we got you dealing with people. So regardless, it's gonna kind of be some of the same behavior, but we have to
Yeah,
base it off the trends. You know what I'm saying? Like the trends of
yeah,
where people feel like they can get away with or at. So last year and the year before, it was the trend of, hey, we all gotta feel sorry, so let's do this, and it was gift mode.
they ain't feeling, and now they ain't feeling sorry no more. This year,
Now they're
ain't
not
no
feeling
feeling
sorry
sorry.
no more. It's like, okay, now we're gonna do what we want to do again, and now people are in
Hmm.
an uproar. But I don't think they're gonna go back on it because they already did it, and maybe they're concluding, like I kind of said earlier, they might just be concluding, we can't make people happy, so we might as well do what
Hmm.
we want.
Want to do it anyway? Yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna be mad regardless of the decision. So this is what we wanted to do anyway. So we're reversing that, like, and we gonna let the states make their own decision. Like,
Yeah. So right now we got a lot of take back going on.
it could potentially be that, like, you know what I'm saying. So even for us as black people, man, we got our gift before that mode switched. A part of me is like, all right, cool, thankful for it, because I know I'm playing long term with this when I say I'm thankful
Mm-hmm.
for it, because I know today it looks like a gift and it looks gimmicky, but in 50 years from now, my great grandchildren, it won't be a gimmick to them. It'll be real.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
and
our,
I,
our grandparents looked at Martin Luther King Day as a gimmick, but it ain't gimmicky anymore today. Like, you know what I mean?
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. And so I'm glad you mentioned that because like I didn't even think of that as I'm thinking about the the gimmickiness of or at least how I felt. Like I'm not gonna say that that's what it is, but that's how I felt. Um and like you said, you can draw that comparison to what Martin Luther King Day probably felt like, you know, 40 years ago now, when that finally became a thing. And now we look at it like it's a true observance. Like we definitely reflect during that time, and it's a real thing to us. It's a real
Yeah,
thing to the nation. You know what I'm saying? Not just African Americans, but the nation overall.
right.
Um, so hopefully it does turn into that. I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping it does. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah,
But it is something that our kids, especially as we get further and further removed from it, to have that solidified, as something to be observed and to be talked about and conversation to be brought up about it. So that's dope. I didn't even think about that, but that's dope.
time will tell. I could be wrong. It could
Mm-hmm.
it could turn out a gimmick, but hopefully it'll take the path of something like MLK's holiday did. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah,
But
man.
let's finish. Let's get these final words on these cigars, man. We went
All right,
we
let's
went
do
from
it.
all these different moves. Let's go straight back to what we here for.
Straight back to the sticks. Okay, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. So for
All
me,
right.
I once again, my cigar really hadn't changed too much, man. It's kind of been what it's gonna be. Everything that I touched on it. So really, all I need to speak on is how I enjoyed that experience. And for me, I would say this was a my only complaint about it is it did continue to go out. So I have to
Okay.
question the construction just a little bit because of that. But the actual when it was lit experience, I enjoyed it a lot. More than I probably would have thought I would have, if I'd have read that this was what it was gonna be prior to. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 4 on a 1 to 5.
Ooh, okay.
I
Okay.
give it a
Okay.
4, and
Leading up to that, I didn't see the four coming. Okay.
I give it a 4. I would definitely smoke it again. Um, I might not go out and buy it right away, like, all right, next week, let me go get some more of these. But at a point when I'm confused on what to smoke and I look and see that sitting there, I might go grab it. You know what I'm saying?
Grab it. Okay.
My
I
particular
like
shop
it.
that I went to actually has dedicated a whole small portion of a wall, but the whole wall, it's like a smaller wall, but the whole wall is dedicated to this brand. So the guy, he referred me to it. He was saying, "Yeah, look, man, we don't put a lot of money behind it because we like them. They're all pretty good sticks. Try this one." And
Okay.
I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? It was a good referral. So I'd be open to
Nice.
try some more from their brand down the line.
Okay. Yeah, I
Hopefully
was
they
gonna
stay
ask
lit better.
yeah, okay. Okay. I was gonna ask when you said it was a referral, I was gonna ask was it an outside referral from like a friend or something like that, or if it was in the humidor in the cigar shop referral. So I'm glad you cleared
In
that
the
up for
shop.
me.
In the shop.
Because
And
I
of
don't know,
course
I'm
I'm
starting to
sure that
get
they did it because of their own relationship with the company.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if it wasn't good, it wouldn't have mattered. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yeah.
I
Because
enjoyed it and I
I'm starting to
understand why they're
become
partnering with them.
yeah, I'm starting to become more reluctant to take in the shop referrals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been done dirty too many times, man.
Well,
Like, man, why did you push this one on me? I didn't like this one. Don't push this one on me no more.
This is the same guy
Don't
I
push no
deal with.
cigars
You
on
know
me.
what I'm saying? And
Okay,
so he's
okay,
been pretty good to me.
reputable individual. Okay,
Yeah,
you know I
man.
can see
He's the
that.
one
Like
who put
if
us on to the fat bottoms and everything else. You know what I'm
okay,
saying? So
okay.
he's been pretty good.
Now that's different. That's different.
Now he don't remember me. You know, every time I come in there, he act like it's his first time talking to me. I'm getting mad with him about that. You gonna remember my face now. We sit here and have a 5-minute conversation every day I come in here, and I done
Yeah.
been in here over 10 times. You gonna remember me at some point now. Like I'm gonna
Hey,
stop talking to you. Like we ain't gonna have no engaging conversation. I know it's
like we're
only
not even
5 minutes
engaging anymore.
because I'm not in there
Come on, man.
long. But it'd be one
Yeah,
thing if we didn't say 2 words to one another. But I talk to you every time I come in here.
yeah.
Like,
You got to recognize me at some point.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be. It ain't that many young black dudes coming in your shop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Remember me? Like,
Man, and does he still talk to you like a rookie? I got to ask that question because I'm curious.
no, I wouldn't say he talked to me like a rookie. I mean, he pretty much, hey, you got anything in mind?
Or
And he
I'm
just let
sorry,
me go free.
a novice, man. And before I get to my rating for my cigar, let me go on my little rant real quick. Um, if you're listening to this podcast and you work at a humidor, you work at a cigar shop, make your suggestions. Get out the cigar shopper's way, please. Make your suggestion. Have your greeting. Get out of the cigar shopper's way. I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself or I'm speaking for anybody else who's a cigar aficionado, cigar lover, or whatever, and somebody who goes to the cigar shops and they're going shopping. I can't stand being ushered through a cigar shop. Like, do not usher me throughout my cigar shopping experience. I can't stand it. That's what happened today. I went to go pick up my cigars today, and the person that was working the shop literally stood less than an arm's length away from me the entire time. And I'm like, will you please go somewhere else? Stop making suggestions. Stop talking to me about these cigars right now. I mean, like, I don't want to sound like the grumpy old guy again, but like my cigar shopping experience is like that's a moment for me. You know, I go to cigar shops for 2 reasons: either I'm going in to pick up what I know I want, or I'm going to see what catches my eye, to see what you got, and to see what catches my eye. Let me have that moment. I can't stand being ushered throughout a cigar shop. And I get the cabinets were locked and you got to unlock it, but let me come get you and say, hey, I want this cigar over here. Like literally shoulder to shoulder the whole time. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Right.
So that's my rant for today.
This is not customer
Talk about
service.
super
You think
annoyed.
it is.
It's not customer service to me. It's not good customer service. That is not the way. It's not the way. Somebody else got to feel the way I feel. I'm talking to somebody, man.
You talking to me? I feel that.
But anyway, so man, the Leaf by Oscar. 10 times out of 10, I will smoke again. Definitely.
Okay. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I would definitely pick up this cigar, particularly the Maduro one. I'm kind of interested in trying the other cigars that Leaf by Oscar has, and to see if it's similar consistency with how they do things, to see if the Leaf actually does play a bigger role as I'm assuming it does right now, because my experience was very, very nice. I think the cigar was preserved very well, constructed very well, and a lot of the flavors, like I haven't had that experience with a cigar too many times before. As far as I'm smoking it and I'm picking up so many different flavors each puff, so that was very unique to my experience. Um, the way it smoked, the construction, the flavors. I'm gonna go ahead and get a cigar 4.2.
Okay. Great
I'm
cigar.
gonna put it up there, but I'm gonna put it up there with you know, a disclaimer. Like, I don't know if I just got a really good one or what, but it's top notch, top notch,
So
top
you're gonna give
notch.
them credit, and then you're gonna say, "Hey, man, I don't know if they deserve this credit, but
Because
I'm gonna give it to them."
I don't know if I'm ready to give it a 4 plus. A 4 plus is big. Like, even when you gave yours a 4.0, and you was rattling off like your 4.0 surprised me. It surprised me because those 4 ups, that's heavyweight class, man.
Yeah. You hit the
Heavyweight
4 months.
class,
You got a very good cigar.
heavyweight class.
Yeah, you hit a
But I
3.8, you
was
got a good cigar. Like, you know
you
what I'm
up
saying?
there,
Technically, you
yeah.
got a good cigar. Like, it's above
hmm
average.
Yeah, but I gotta say that I really thoroughly enjoyed the smoke. I thoroughly enjoyed the smoke. I can't name anything I didn't like about it. Nothing I didn't like about it. That's why I got to give it a 4 plus. But I don't know. I'm still in a weird place with it though. Like I'm kind of apprehensive as far as like just sticking with it. But I'm gonna stay with it for now.
We're gonna go with the 4.2, and at some point in time, you'll get confirm that, because I see your reluctance to
Yeah,
give
man,
that,
I'm
even
reluctant.
though you felt like it was deserving of it in the moment. You feel like long term, this might not might
I
not
don't know.
look
I
good
don't
on you, I
know.
guess.
Yeah, I don't want to swear by it just yet. Sorry, Oscar. But I'm gonna look into your brand a little bit more. I'm gonna study you guys a little bit more. But I can see this being one of my mainstays. Honestly, I can probably see it being one of my mainstays if you're consistent. So Oscar, you might have a new customer.
Hey, there you go. Hopefully, you get plenty more from this show. But anyway, all right, that's today's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We appreciate y'all tuning in this week. We'll get with you next week.
Yes, sir. Cigars up.